Off the heels of another FA Cup victory, we finished second place in the table last season and qualified for the Champions League for the first time in Southampton's history. And heading into season 4 with a squad that's in better shape than it's ever been before, and our biggest budget of £125 million to spend, I think one or two key signings in the summer transfer window means we could potentially elevate ourselves once again into the title challenge heading into season 4. But of course, if you are enjoying the series so far, please feel free to like and subscribe, and let's get into it. So as we head into another season here at Southampton, the board expectations keep getting more and more ridiculous. With this season, even though it's only our first season in the Champions League, the board, for whatever reason, want us to reach the final. And on top of that, they also want us to finish in a Champions League place in the league and go and win the FA Cup for the third time on the bounce. But looking at some of the progress of my players in my squad, it's kind of hard to see where we might be able to improve this season. It could be argued perhaps Bella Kotchev, only rated 83, could be the one that might be sacrificed for a better central defender, but as he's only aged 23 years of age and Joe Gomez now forming a formidable partnership with him at the back last season, I'm reluctant to get rid of him, and I think he deserves at least one more season to see if he can climb over the 85 rated bracket. In spite of both Matteo Guendouzi and Renato Sanchez only joining the club in recent transfer windows, central midfield is potentially an area I might want to improve. With my captain James Ward-Prowse now at 30 years of age with only 12 months left on his contract and only at 83 rated, he is starting to slip down the pecking order, and it could be time to potentially look for a replacement for this man. Elsewhere on the left hand side of midfield, Kamadine Sulemana is well and truly on fire. He definitely has that something special, and now up to 85. He was absolutely sensational last season and has well and truly cemented himself as our number one left midfielder. However, his backup Samuel Eldouzi hasn't quite developed at the rapid pace that I was hoping last year. So as you can see, I've put him on the loan list. Hopefully he can improve his development this year, and hopefully we can potentially look to bring in a replacement to properly compete with this man in season 4. Now, starting off with left midfield, you can see I've shortlisted a variety of different players with a variety of different overall ratings. However, with me not wanting to stunt the development of Kamadine Sulemana, and with the board seemingly desperate for me to sign a player with the same nationality as the club, it's time to welcome our first signing of the summer transfer window. It's a young Englishman currently plying his trade in Germany with Borussia Dortmund. It's time to welcome Callum Hudson-Odoi, another Chelsea alumni who comes in for 41.5 million. At 82 rated, he's a step up from the reserve we currently have at the club at the moment, and with Premier League and Champions League experience, I think he is the perfect signing to lead us into season 4 and to lead us into European glory. But with one in, it's one out as backup goalkeeper Matthias Liz departs the club in a deal for 6.3 million to Celtic, and it means it leaves us with youngsters Ruben Varela, who returned from his loan spell last season, and 17-year-old Oscar Reed to battle it out for that backup spot to our main goalkeeper Gavin Bazunu. And so going back to our own incoming transfers, with competition and creativity needed in central midfield and ideally having Champions League experience to boot, Dani Olmo is the next man to feature on my shortlist. And after negotiating a deal for £68.6 million plus Carlo Alcaraz, to much media fanfare, Dani Olmo will become the second signing of this summer transfer window, and what an incredible signing he is, arguably the biggest in Southampton's history. At 87 rated and having that something special, he will come straight in as our biggest and best signing we have ever made. He will slot straight into the central of midfield, and what an upgrade he will provide heading into season 4. And with the start of the season almost upon us, we have managed to secure some additional loan moves from some of our younger players, including the big one of Samuel Eldouzi heading off to Club Bruges for another year. As you can see, the squad is looking in better shape than it ever has before, and Dani Olmo will make his debut for the club as we head back to Wembley for our first game of the season in the Community Shield against Manchester City for our first chance of silverware this season. But we're going to look to right the wrongs of last season after Manchester City beat us 3-0 in the Premier League to end our title hopes. But Manchester City are the ones that have started off far better today, but Guendouzi is just there in the nick of time to make the interception to get the ball clear, but City go again, and it's Çalhanoğlu into Yazabal, and it's straight at Bazunu, and what was a massive opportunity for City to give themselves the lead. Truffert down the left-hand side, he's got Dani Olmo on his debut, flicks it onto his right and balloons a strike over the bar. He saw his name up in lights in the Community Shield, but it was not meant to be. Dani Olmo again, it's into Renato Sanchez. Jeremy Doku on the right-hand side, twisting away from the challenge of Gomez. That is a beautiful piece of play from Jeremy Doku, and he's got Dani Olmo in the box. Dani Olmo with the head. It was down, but Ederson was there to get a hand to it and to stop Dani Olmo scoring again on his debut. Phil Foden down the left-hand side, looking to go one-on-one with Bella Kotchap. But again, it's a beautiful challenge from the man who I was 50-50 about replacing in the summer transfer window. As Onuachu now into Livramento, into Jeremy Doku, back into Onuachu. Somehow he's managed to stay on side. Onuachu drives into the box. Ederson is there with another big save. Well, it's been end-to-end stuff here so far in this opening season game as Jeremy Doku whips a good ball in. Looking for the head of Joe Gomez this time, and Ederson yet again has been on fire so far in this game. Yazabal into Erling Haaland. He's going to try and go one-on-one again with Bella Kotchap, but he's managed to go past him and then hacks a shot way wide. Sergio Gomez looking to go past Renato Sanchez, and he's done a really good job. Sanchez tried to track him back, but City were just too quick. But Livramento with a beautiful challenge there. Onuachu to release Jeremy Doku, and this is where we can be dangerous. Jeremy Doku driving into the box. He continues his run, and he smashes it past Ederson to give us a 1-0 lead. Well, Ederson, who was absolutely fantastic in the first half, completely flaps at this one. It's a save he really should be making, but he just gets it all wrong, and Jeremy Doku celebrates with the rest of the players. And it's Southampton 1, Manchester City 0. Trufer being chased down by Bentancur and Haaland, both together. City again looking to put the pressure on here as Bella Kotchap tries to skip away from the challenge of another City attacker, and the pressure is just too much. But Joe Gomez comes across, but in the end Haaland manages to get it back, and he drives into the box here, tries to go past Bella Kotchap, and he's proving yet again that it was the correct decision to hold on to that man after a phenomenal challenge as Livramento brings the ball forward. Quinton Timber into Jeremy Doku yet again, and this is a sensational counter-attack here. Jeremy Doku across to Callum Hudson-Odoi on his debut, gets the goal that gives us a 2-0 lead. Well, from one end of the field to the other, Jeremy Doku yet again involved. Another driving run into the Manchester City penalty area, and it is Callum Hudson-Odoi unmarked at the back post who just snuck in place of Kalmadine Sulemana, gets a goal on his debut. Pep Guardiola can't believe it, and Southampton lead here 2-0. Hudson-Odoi again, he senses blood now, looking for another one, and it's Danny Olmo now, the other new signing. He's seen Callum Hudson-Odoi get on the score sheet, he wants it himself, but he's just crowded out in the end after what was a pretty decent run. Quinton Timber, Callum Hudson-Odoi again, the levels have just picked up here at Wembley, and Trufer now driving into the box, whips a good ball in. What a head from Jeremy Doku, and Ederson was on hand to save. Bella Kotchap, Livramento, Timber now, we're building out beautifully from the back. Jeremy Doku into Onuachu. Onuachu's going to try and find a ball back to Jeremy Doku. It's a wonderful ball. Can we get a third here? Jeremy Doku across the box. Danny Olmo was inches away from getting a touch on it. And in the end, we do manage to keep the ball alive, though, with Callum Hudson-Odoi into Guendouzi, into Danny Olmo. Danny Olmo, that is absolutely sensational. Well, we have well and truly put the demons of our Premier League campaign against Manchester City to bed, and that is absolutely fantastic. Beautiful piece of build-up play right from the back. We just completely open Manchester City up, and Danny Olmo, seeing Callum Hudson-Odoi get a goal on his debut, thinks, I want a bit of that myself. Gets his goal, 3-0 Southampton. Guendouzi under a bit of pressure here, but again manages to wriggle away from a challenge. And in Manchester City's desperation here to try and get another one, we've opened them up. Onuachu just fires past Ederson. Manchester City have completely unravelled here. What on earth is going on? Well, in their efforts to press high here in the second half, they've left acres of space behind the back line, so much so that Onuachu just had the time to pick his spot, and he did just that. Pep Guardiola cannot believe it once again, and it's Manchester City 0, Southampton 4, and that is that. The players celebrate, they can't quite believe it. Manchester City players are scratching their heads. What on earth has happened here at Wembley today? And in the absence of James Ward-Prowse, it will be our new star centre-back signing, Joe Gomez, who will be the man to lift the Community Shield to give Southampton a fantastic start to Season 4. Exactly what the doctor ordered. Well, as debuts go, it doesn't get much better than that for Callum Hudson-Odoi. On as a substitute, scores in one of his first contributions to the game, a 7.9 rating, and what a way to start your Southampton career. And the same goes for Danny Olmo, a goal, an assist, completely running the show against the Premier League champions, and already he is proving to be an inspired signing in the centre of our midfield. And the irony is we're going to be starting our Premier League campaign away from home against Manchester City yet again. And having just played them in the Community Shield, I decided to sim this game, which perhaps looking at the scoreline was the wrong decision. Haaland getting 2, vanquishing the ghosts of that Community Shield performance, and Manchester City claim all 3 points for a terrible start to our season. And with our first home game of the season being one that we're going to welcome Manchester United to St Mary's, the fixtures are not getting any easier. Well, it seems like we've got a bit of history with these Manchester clubs, with City going all the way and beating us to the Premier League title last year, and United were the ones who knocked us out of the Europa League last year, and they're looking to apply another blow this season as they go close with an opening shot inside the opening 10 minutes. Dani Olmo to bring the ball away here, and Manchester United have put so many men forward for this corner that we've got acres of space to run into here, and it was Anthony who was trying to track Dani Olmo, didn't do a good job of it. Dani Olmo into the box, looks for Renato Sanchez, and that is a good and needed header away from the United defence. Kochep goes over the top into Livramento. Beautiful ball into him, and he finds Renato Sanchez, who finds Onuachu, who finds Dani Olmo, and he looked to get his first Premier League goal for Southampton, but he was denied by the outstretched arms of the United goalkeeper. Jeremy Doku to take the resulting corner, looks for the head of Joe Gomez, went for a diving header, couldn't quite get there. Bella Kochep will. It's back to Jeremy Doku, whips another good ball in, looking for Onuachu, not there. Guendouzi is, and Guendouzi with a fine volleyed finish to give us a 1-0 lead at St Mary's. Well, it's been a terrific start for us, and Onuachu was so close to giving us the lead with his head, but look at that for a finish from Guendouzi. A fabulous first-time volley. Look at that, caught it perfectly. Keeper had no chance, right into the bottom right-hand corner, and Matteo Guendouzi says thank you very much, and we lead 1-0. United looking to strike back quickly here, and they've got a short corner that they're going to take. It's Guerrero. Fancy footwork to give it to Eriksen on the edge of the box. No one challenging him. He smashes it against Bella Kochep. Locatelli into Rashford. Bazunu is there to catch the ball. Suleimana now going to try and throw a ball all the way over to Jeremy Doku, and that is a beautiful ball. And Jeremy Doku takes it down with ease, makes the defender look silly, drives past the centre-back, ball into the box. Dani Olmo tussling to try and get there, and it's away by the Manchester United defence. Christian Eriksen into Lautaro Martinez. Oh, Bella Kochep again is there. That man has been fantastic so far in this episode. It's on Onuachu now. Going to look for Kalmadine Suleimana. It must be said it's been pretty quiet, but he's found a ball almost inches away from finding a ball to Jeremy Doku, who would have been clean through there. And United now go again. End-to-end stuff here at St Mary's. Lautaro Martinez manages to get away from Joe Gomez, but he tracks him back beautifully. But that is going to be a penalty. Well, I thought it was a beautiful challenge, but if we check the replay out, it was definitely not. We can have no complaints. Joe Gomez is disappointed in himself, and rightly so. It's a really poor penalty to give away, and Marcus Rashford will be the man to step up here for Manchester United. Which way will he go? It is saved by Bazunu, but he comes back out, and he puts it into the side netting. Unbelievable stuff, and somehow on the stroke of half-time, we keep the scores at 1-0. Rashford looking to make amends from his penalty miss in the first half, finds a beautiful ball over to Anthony on the right-hand side. Anthony, one-on-one with Truffert, can't seem to wriggle his way round him. Ends up going inside to Christian Eriksen, who keeps picking up these pockets of space unmarked. Locatelli on the edge of the box, trying to find a space round my defence, keeps going. It's blocked off by Bella Kochep once again. And can we get the ball clear? Yes, we can. Rashford to bring it forward for United. They've started off this second half desperately searching for a goal, and Rashford almost bundled his way through my defence, but fortunately enough, Bella Kochep and Bazunu were on hand to keep the ball out of the net. Jeremy Doku looks right the way over to the left-hand side into Kalmadine Suleimana, who finds Dani Olmo, who finds Onuachu, who surely will find the back of the net. He does, and that is a thumping strike into the top right-hand corner. He says thank you very much with the most unorthodox celebration. Beautiful ball through from Dani Olmo into the path of Onuachu, who just split the defence, and look at that for a finish. Gave the goalkeeper no chance. Adrian DG knows how important that goal was. It's Southampton 2, Manchester United 0. Onuachu again now into Kalmadine Suleimana, and just like Manchester City tried to press us high, United are doing the same thing here. It's Truffert into Dani Olmo. Dani Olmo, good save from the goalkeeper. Suleimana into the overlapping run of the substitute Carl Walker-Peters, whips a good ball in, looking for the other head of the substitute, Skov Olsen. It was a big header and a big save. Guendouzi again will throw in another corner, and again looking for Joe Gomez, and once again can't find him, but we will find Kalmadine Suleimana. He will find Joe Gomez again. It's Skov Olsen looking for his first goal of this season, turns beautifully around the defender and then balloons his strike over the bar. Lautaro Martinez goes to Anthony. This game becoming a little bit too much end-to-end than I would like it, as he just goes past Ridvan Yilmaz Yilmaz and outmuscles him, drives into the box, looks for the strike and drags his shot way wide. When Doozy goes out to Ridvan Yilmaz, who goes into Quinton Timber. Timber looks for Renato Sanchez, beautiful ball. He looks for Skov Olsen, switches it onto his left, strikes with his left, and that is absolutely brilliant. Arguably the best goal of the lot. Well, the crowd go absolutely wild, and in United's desperation to at least get one goal, they leave so many gaps at the back, and when you give Skov Olsen that much time to pick his spot, he will do just that. A beautiful finish, just curled it round the goalkeeper. Could he have done more? He got a hand to it, but it wasn't strong enough. Skov Olsen says thank you very much. It's 3-0 Southampton. And as the Manchester United players ask questions amongst themselves, it is Southampton after a fine performance that will take the 3 points. Onuachu with a goal and another sensational performance from our star striker. Full time at St Mary's, it finishes Southampton 3, United 0. And with Skov Olsen scoring his first goal of the season, and that result kick-starting our season to bring us up to 7th place in the Premier League, it seems like the perfect way to end what has been a fantastic episode. 2 huge new signings and a Community Shield victory is not a bad way to start Season 4. Thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you again next time.